Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It is time for some SNB Cup Series racing. We had taken a 2-week break, a cool-down period, as a ton of drama hit the SNB Cup Series back at Las Vegas for the conclusion of the round of 12, where we had to say goodbye to 4 drivers, but we're now left with 8. 4 more races left in the season, including tonight's race, the live simracingtv.com 125 here at the Roval for the SNB Cup Series presented by LSRTV. Drivers right now taking the course for qualifying. That's what we have left on your timer, but a lot of hard racing to be seen. My name is Sam Dyer. With me is going to be that of Charles Wooten in the booth. Going to be joining me as color commentator. Charles, a lot of drama happened for the round of 12. Luckily, we got things cleaned up, got a little bit of a rest period, but we're back for SNB Cup Series action.
Yeah, I have to say the last couple of weeks have really been, centered around chaos and drama. We have the whole Caden Anderson deal over in the Northwest. We have drivers intentionally wrecking drivers here in the SNB. They ultimately got suspended, kicked out of the league. So a lot of stuff going on around a couple of leagues. It's all done. It's in the past. It's time for some Roval racing here tonight. I said it earlier. Road racing, I think of IndyCar, but definitely going to see some good racing here. 15 cars here tonight. Should be a good one.
Yeah, it should be a good one for sure. And touching on the fact, this is the round of 8, and those 8 drivers starting at the top of the board, going to be Braxton DeWeese in the 8 machine. He's going to be having a 17-point lead over the cut line. You got Logan Brakey 3 points above the cut line. Ross Tatum going to be 1 point over. Jacob Grant tied with Matt Dyer on that cut line, but because of the best average finishes, the 52 of Jacob Grant is above that of Matt Dyer, who's in 5th in points. 6th is going to be Joshua Altus, 1 point out. Eric Stamp, our winner from Martinsville that locked himself into this round of 8 at the start of the playoffs. He's going to be back in 7th, 3 points out. And Evan Coleman, the driver that kind of lucked into this position because of Brockton Packard not being able to run the full playoff courses. Evan Coleman was given that final spot for the round of 12. He has taken that chance, and he's now moved in to that of the round of 8. Looking at this field right now and some of those drivers that are here this evening, there are a couple of drivers of note. That of Braxton DeWeese, that of well as Jacob Grant. Those are 2 drivers I feel like are going to have really good shots to possibly win this race and move on to our Championship 4 race that will be at Kansas in 3 weeks. But, Charles, still a lot of pressure for this tonight's race at the Roval.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of pressure on the line. We're sort of going to pick our wins here for tonight. I'm going to go with your brother. I'm going with Matt Dyer here tonight. I definitely am not going with him off stats because, quite frankly, I haven't looked at any of the stats. I'm going off of him just because I like his nickname, Too Sexy. However, if he does not win tonight or does not do good, I may have to start calling him Too Slow instead of Too Sexy. So I'm rooting for him. I'm hoping Matt Dyer can pull off a top 3 and ultimately a win here tonight.
Yeah, Matt Dyer still looking for his first win this season. He got his first SNB Cup Series win at Texas last season, but still has been looking for success, and we'll see if we can grab it here. If we're going to be making picks, I got to go with Braxton DeWeese. DeWeese last season was probably the road course ringer at every single road course we went to. That 8 machine was looking like to be the victor. This season has kind of been a little bit of a toss-up on who's going to get the win. We've seen that of Thomas Fisher get a win at that of Road Atlanta. Then we've also seen, Road America. Then we also have seen that of Caleb Smith after a lot of controversy at Sonoma, getting a win there, road course racing in wine country. But here at the Roval, kind of feeling the 8 finally going to be able to clinch himself a win, road course racing, and put himself in a spot to go back-to-back on championships. He is our reigning and defending championship winner from the SNB Cup Series for Season 2. Season 3, looking like DeWeese could be finding himself in that championship race at Kansas, which I know Kansas is pretty far away, but that's exactly where Braxton DeWeese got some of his first wins of the season, was at Kansas earlier on. And for that to be the championship race, that 8 have to be riding high coming into the Roval.
Yeah, definitely riding high. And, Sam, we like to have a little sense of humor here at LSRTV. And I just thought about this. I was looking at the schedule. The last race where it all went down was in Las Vegas. And it took us 2 weeks to finally get over to Charlotte. That's about how long it's taken some of my FedEx packages to get to me. 2 weeks going from coast to coast here lately. But I digress. We won't hate on FedEx too much. But Las Vegas was the last race we had. And that, again, a gambling city, Sin City, whatever you want to call it. What more fitting place for drama to go down and chaos to go down than over at Las Vegas? Coming up on the schedule, of course, after the Roval, gonna be an interesting one. We head over to Talladega Super Speedway. That's gonna be a tough one there for some of these guys, because that is one of those tracks where if it can happen, it probably will happen. The big one will happen. Lady Luck has to be on your side at any of these super speedway tracks.
Oh, absolutely. I think for Talladega, we're going to be seeing teamwork be the biggest thing there. And I think, if anything, looking at Braxton DeWeese and that whole entire High Five racing team there, as Braxton DeWeese is no longer on High Five, that's going to be one of the biggest things for Braxton DeWeese to have to overcome, is finding teammates or just allies at this point to work with, as High Five has made a lot of changes throughout the middle of this season. We saw Braxton DeWeese being taken out, his replacement, Thomas Fisher, coming in, and as well, a new face coming back who once was there a couple of seasons ago. Caleb Smith's coming back home. He's going back to High Five Racing for next season, but has already switched colors. That 12 machine going to be trying to rep the new High Five team back strong. But, man, got to say, Braxton DeWeese certainly is going to need some help. But I think when we go to Talladega, CEM Motorsports going to be one of the favorites. But you see it, gridding is being shown. Qualifying is over. It's time to see who's going to be starting up front for this race. It is the live simracingtv.com 125 at the Roval. Drivers starting to pack themselves into the grid and getting ready for some road course racing. Top of the board, it's Braxton DeWeese and a newcomer, Trent Jump of the 03, going to be to his outside in row number 1 for your team 126 Racing starting grid. Row number 2 going to be that of Jacob Grant in the 52 with Ross Tatum to his outside. Ross Tatum talked about possibly doing a starting park. We'll see if he follows through with that. That of Tyler Stooksbury going to be in the 19 in row number 3 with Evan Coleman, the 51, to his outside. Evan Coleman going to be looking for a good run for himself. Matt Dyer, your pick, Charles. He'll be back in row number 4 to his outside. Our Martinsville winner, that of Eric Stamp. We'll see if Eric Stamp can do the similar thing they did in the round of 12. Get a win early. That of Rod Sherwood in the 22. Back in row number 5 with Logan Brakey in his outside for the number 2. Logan Brakey, another one of those drivers that's going to be looking for a consistent run for himself as we drop back to row number 6. Charles, we'll give it off to you.
Yeah, Brockton Packard in that 24. Again, opted not to be in the playoffs, but he's been here in the playoffs. So, while he's not in it, he's still here racing. That is awesome to see. One of those league owners, Josh Alt, is maybe even a little struggling here in the playoffs. He's below that cut line. He needs to get a good finish here, possibly a win, if he wants to get himself into those final 4. Row 7 going to be the 12 of Caleb Smith. We just talked about switching teams here at the end of the season. And Andrew Cootie in that 48 machine on row 7. Row 8 going to be the 55 of Papa Smith. That is Chris Smith in the 55. And the 4 of Keenan Massey. Good to see these guys racing as well. And rounding out your field in row 9 for the 18-car field. A little more than we thought. We said 15, but there's 18. It's going to be DJ Daniel in number 5. We'll see if he'll play us some music later on tonight. And the 96 of Zach Peterson. Should be a good field of racing. Again, 18 cars. I think we're going to see a good amount of racing. It really just depends on how close they stay bunched together or if they get spread out throughout this race.
Yeah, if they get spread out in the early portion of this race, they'll be clumped up once again. There is a competition caution on lap 16 for these drivers, so they'll get a little bit of a sense of how the start of this race is going to go. Also could get a lot of knowledge from that first stint. How aggressive were you pushing? Did you need to back off, save tires, or do you need to be a little bit more aggressive? As we see all the drivers side by side getting a sense of the Roval. We're here at Charlotte, and the Roval uses primarily most of the oval as well as racing in the infield. The infield going to be where the driver is going to be able to really gain a lot of time on one another, but it's going to be when they're on the oval where we're going to be seeing a lot of drivers making these passes on one another. That's where the hard braking zones are. We're going through coming onto what would be on the exit of turn 2 on the oval right now for these drivers, and getting on this is a great portion of the course where drivers are going to have to get up to speed, but you also, if you have a little bit of a tough transition from the apron onto the oval racing course, you can lose a lot of time here.
Yeah, definitely could. And I see an 03 Trenton jump. Obviously, I think you mentioned that a whole new look and new number for Trenton jump in that Ford Performance. I know Genius, Sam, but I think we're going to a possible throwback Dale Earnhardt Sr. Style paint job there.
Yeah, he's running the 03. Didn't want to run the full 3, but still wanting to give a little bit of homage to Dale Earnhardt Sr. And really, I think Trenton Jump, one of the guys that really could take a shot here for a victory and kind of could snub one of our playoff drivers. As you've seen, the drivers that are on the outside just cutting through the chicane, that bus stop that the drivers just went through, that is going to be one of the tougher positions to get hard on the brakes. You could try to attack, try to make a pass. You could lose a lot of ground there. And as we're going through some of the last corners here at the Roval, it's a 12-corner course. 2.28 miles is the distance for just one lap. We're coming to the last chicane where the driver's getting ready to go green. Looks like 17 drivers are on track, but it looks like Andrew Cootie going to be not starting. We'll see if he wants to start on pit road or if he might miss out. Pace car is off, getting ready to go through this final chicane as the drivers at the SNB Cup Series got a 2-week break, but it's time to go green once again. We are green for the LiveSimRacingTV.com 125 as the drivers roar down into turn number 1.
Yeah, and a quick update. I do apologize. We didn't get to update that yet. That's a battle for 12th in points. Just disregard it anyway. The only one you need to worry about is Blue tonight. They are in, well, they do need a win. They're in the playoffs. They need a win to move on, to get locked in, and they will be green. And you mentioned those little rumble strips there, Sam, or the turtles as they like to be called. Obviously, they're turtles because they have that hump to them a little bit, but don't let that fool you. You need to go pretty slow over them. We have seen many times someone hit one of those turtles and get it up on 2 wheels, and it could cost you positions. I've even seen in that last chicane, those little turtles cost somebody the win because they got it up on 2 wheels too fast.
Oh yeah, no, it ultimately can ruin your day very quickly if you get on those turtles. And now into the bus stop, get to see Braxton DeWeese, turtles on both sides. You can touch the white and red rumble strips. Those are friendly, but if you hit that blue turtle, it is going to ruin your day, damage your car greatly. As up front, Braxton DeWeese, Trenton Jump, that of Jacob Grant, going to be your top 3 as Braxton DeWeese going to the final couple of corners. Hard braking zones, a lot we're going to be seeing here tonight as cars on all 2 able to survive, but lap 1 to Braxton DeWeese as he tries to carry forward, but already seeing DeWeese just, get a little bit of a gap each and every lap, just running a little bit faster, which based off of qualifying and practice, DeWeese was about anywhere from 0.3 to 0.4 faster than everyone else. But road course racing, you can see stuff like that as Trenton Jump get a little bit sideways, seeing that back end fishtail, but holding on as drivers all around really just trying to survive at this point. 55 laps, it's going to be a marathon for all of these drivers trying to survive.
Yeah, it is definitely going to be a marathon. And one thing we haven't really hit on here, Sam, is pit road. Pit road is a little tricky, especially coming off of pit road. You're kind of behind a wall. It's almost like a little secret hiding spot back there when you come out of pit road. So you have to be very careful with that, especially how you come into the track. If you come out at the wrong time, you're going to be coming out when other cars are coming in, and we know they're going to have to pit. Obviously, I believe the pit window was around somewhere 18 to 20, I believe is what it was. Yes, 18 to 20 laps is the fuel window. 65% is what they run. So you're going to have to be careful, and we know there's a competition caution at the completion of lap 16. So are you going to come in and pit prior to that competition caution, or are you going to come in during the competition caution? His Trent jump just smacks the wall hard.
That is a hard contact for the 0-3, and you can already see the whole entire right side crunkled up from the front bumper all the way to the back quarter panel. This 0-3 going to have to worry about that damage as he carries forward, but a lot of these drivers right now trying to hold on the best that they can. And up front, Braston DeWeese has been doing everything perfect. We've seen Trenton jump that rear end, getting a little bit out of sorts at times. Already saw him get into the wall, but our front three looking clean. But in the middle of the pack, I think that's where a lot of the drivers have been keeping it a lot more mixier and a lot more dangerous. As you know, up front, everyone's trying to space out, but some of the guys back here, such as the 19 of Stooksbury, he's going to be in the lead driver in 5th position. He's got a hornet's nest behind him of drivers that have been side-by-side hard racing for themselves. But honestly, it's been pretty clean for a lot of the drivers. Guys that got to be careful, though. Eric Stamp, he had an issue on lap 1. He has fallen all the way back to 14th. He's slowly been marching his way forward, but it's going to be a long day for the 69. But luckily, if you're having issues early on, you still have that comp caution on lap 16.
Yeah, you definitely are looking for that competition caution to be coming out at some point. Again, lap 16, I say some point. It will be coming out at lap 16. The completion of that lap, we assume. It says lap 16. It doesn't technically say completion, but that is typically when it happens. Is we're over here with Matt Dyer, and a little bit different look for him on this 88 machine. I hadn't got a chance to see it, but still got the Mr. Clean on the side of the car. But Sam, you'd know better than anyone. It's been 2 weeks. Maybe I'm unfamiliar, but it looks like he's put some new stuff on there. It's I can't tell exactly what it says. It looks like Under Racing.
Yeah, Matt Dyer going to be rocking a new scheme for himself. The 88 team going to be going by that of Thin Line Racing. And for that of Matt Dyer, as well as most of that CEM Motorsports team, there was a little bit during the break of discussion of, do we want to stay as a team moving forward? And a lot of the team came together, and it sounds like CEM Motorsports, this is going to be the last season of a full team, completely disbanding after Season 3 of the SNB Cup Series. So that of Evan Coleman, Matt Dyer, for this season. Logan Brakey also came on board. Tom Bourne also joined this team. Caleb Smith was also one of the primary members because of the switch-ups that's been going on during this break. CEM Motorsports, they're just trying to have a great hoorah at the end, but already seeing different schemes being put on the 88, the 12, and also the 51.
Yeah, and we mentioned coming up Talladega next week. You know, this really could possibly hinder who you work with coming to Talladega, because you have to know, you know, you're on a team together, and you know as well as I do from watching real racing, sim racing, any form of racing, can be animosity towards other drivers, even on your own team. We've seen it many, many times in NASCAR. So if you didn't really care for a driver on the team, now this is really going to be interesting coming to Talladega, because technically you're still a team, but are you going to work with that teammate as much as you would, you know, before this breakup of the band, per se?
Yeah, and, you know, that is going to be one of the biggest things, because for Talladega, you're going to be seeing a lot of drivers trying to make a move to the outside. It's going to be primarily with this Cup Aero package. A lot of Super Speedway racing is a lot of single file racing for primarily, as you're seeing side-by-side action. Caleb Smith able to make the pass on Logan Brakey, and going to be trying to move forward with Rob Sherwood just lingering behind. But, you know, Super Speedway racing, going to be a lot of single file action for about 80 to 90% of that race next week. It's the ends of the comp, coming up to the comp caution, as well as the end of the race, where we're going to be seeing drivers really having to make moves and trust the drivers around them if they're going to be able to make any moves. As Evan Coleman issues, losing now 2 positions for the 51 team. As Coleman falls back, Smith moves forward. As it's been Dyer and that of Caleb Smith moving forward now up to 6th and 7th for the two of them.
Yeah, they are moving forward. And speaking of moving, I am keeping an eye on that 03 of Trenton Jump. Just slowly eyeballing him. One thing notice is Jacob Grant is reeling him in big time. And if you look over to Braxton DeWeese, that gap is just massively growing. That damage is hurting him big time. And again, like I said, is allowing Jacob Grant to reel him in. They do have one fast repair. The question is, and I think it's a very unfounded question, will he use that fast repair at the competition caution? I think he will, because we're probably not going to get another caution. I'm not even sure if they run full course cautions. If 20 cars were to pile up and block the entire track, I don't think it would trigger a caution. I don't think they would manually throw one. So he's going to want to use that. First, he's going to not cut the course like that, though.
Yeah, and with cutting the course, iRacing rules, there is a yield penalty. So you have to slow down and give up that time that you gained by cutting the course. That's exactly what we saw Trenton Jump have to do in the 0-3, giving time, losing the position, and now he's got to fight back. But that damage, certainly, we've already seen it is hindering this 0-3. But it kind of matters on how much time he has to spend on pit road to get that damage repaired, because I think partly it is the damage that he's taken on, but in those first 2 laps, we were already seeing the tail end kind of wiggling around, and that was something the drivers were touching on coming into this race. There was an iRacing update, Season 4, where the drivers got a new tire model that was given to the Cup cars and all cars at road courses, and it kind of made these Cup cars a little bit more unstable at times, meaning that when he got on the brakes, the car wanted to wiggle more, and when he wanted to get back on the throttle, same thing happened. You just did not feel a sense of security getting back onto the throttle, and that's where we've been seeing the 0-3 wiggling, burning up more tires, and the worse you wiggle, the more heat you put in, more heat, the worse it gets throughout the day. So it's just a compounding issue that Trenton Jump's dealing with that he's going to have to figure out by the end of the day. As, oh my goodness, I don't know if we have a replay on the 88, but he's having issues for himself. But there was a giant mistake for the 88. Here's your Pulse Popper's instant replay. But you're going to see when he goes to the backstretch, a little bit of airborne action for the 88. Misjudged his braking zone, and completely he's already struggling here. But Matt Dyer having a massive issue for himself going into the bus stop.
Well, that's not good. My pick, Matt Dyer. Again, his nickname he calls himself, and we've kind of adopted it as Too Sexy. As there you see the airborne. Like they say for sprint cars, they have wings, but they're not meant to fly. These things have spoilers and fenders, but they're not meant to fly either.
Oh no, and that's going to be causing internal damage that is for sure going to be dealing with. 1, because he went over the turtles, and 2, he went airborne and came crashing down. So the 88, he's going to have some damage he's got to repair once we get to that competition caution. But man, that already hard racing. We've already seen a lot of mistakes from some of our playoff drivers. We saw Eric Stamp have a mistake. Dyer now struggling. Other playoff drivers, though, have been doing quite well. Like we've seen Jacob Grant and DeWeese up front doing exactly what they need to do. And for that of Jacob Grant, he was right at that cut line. He was 4th in points coming into the day. So he needs to have a solid day for himself to feel comfortable for the next 2 races at Talladega and Phoenix before we get to our championship 4.
It definitely does. And, one last thing about that little jump that your brother just did there, Matt Dyer, in that 88 machine. Obviously not helping his run here in the playoffs. But as far as sticking the landing, I would give that a solid at least 8, maybe even a 9. That was a solid landing job.
Oh, absolutely. He stuck it, didn't hit the wall afterwards, which I think that was the biggest scare, was making sure he didn't hit the wall. Saved it, keeps on trucking along, but he's now back in 10th, 4 positions down. But this battle for second heating up as Trenton Jump. He lost ground, but he is still keeping it close and willing to fight back. He lost that second place by overshooting the final chicane. Well, he's right there, and he's coming back to that spot that he messed up on earlier. He might be able to capitalize, get some redemption as we're coming towards, lap 10, right around the corner. These drivers knowing that that comp caution is soon to be coming here.
Yeah, it definitely is, and you can just see him right there. Both of them going well below that line. That is perfectly legal. It's not a yellow line, it's a blue one, so you can go below it. As we're on board with Trenton Jump, and he's running him down. You'll see him. He'll probably catch him right here. He'll break a little bit later, and right there, he'll reel him in just a little bit, but not quite enough to actually get by him. But he is right on his back bumper. If Grant makes a mistake, he's going to have to make a perfect pass, but he could potentially get back by him. Damage, maybe not hurting him as bad as we thought it was.
Yeah, I mean, you could hear it in the throttle, right? Coming into that final chicane, it was a lot of letting off early, so letting the car coast a lot more, while you saw Jacob Grant force himself into the corner, have to get on the brakes sooner. As we're riding on board with the 0-3 of Trenton Jump, seeing the 52 of Jacob Grant in front of him. I mean, this is a great shot just to show the different types of attacks into these corners, as you're seeing Trenton Jump at times trying to just run a little bit of a different, sometimes lower, of a shallower entry, sometimes a little bit higher, trying to figure out where to maximize his speed currently. And it seems like it's in the bus stop in that last chicane where we see the most speed gained by Trenton Jump, but everywhere else in this racetrack, Jacob Grant pulling away with that 52 machine from the 0-3.
And one thing we didn't get a chance to check out, and you see how dark it is right now as we're on board, we'll take a look at those weather conditions presented by SawBlade.com. 106 degrees is the track temp. Ambient temp, only 83, mostly cloudy, with as many clouds as there are out, Sam, and as cool as that air temperature is at 83, I'm really shocked to see the track up at 106 degrees.
Yeah, I mean, that mostly cloudy really came in late, right before the race went green, so the cloud cover finally coming in, so we might see the track temp drop, but this is a large course, so it's going to take a lot of cloud cover to cool down this racetrack, but certainly the racing action picking right back up. Again, Trenton Jump, it's those final couple of corners where he's gaining this time. It's this aspect that we're coming up to where Trenton Jump needs to find a little bit more speed and stay right on the back bumper of Jacob Grant if he wants a shot to make this pass for second.
Yeah, he's right there. And, you know, we've said over and over again, catching someone is one thing, passing them is another, especially with damage. As you can see, that splitter on the back, or the bottom there, is damaged as well on the right-hand side of the car. That shouldn't hopefully affect him too much, being it's not a super speedway, but it's going to affect him in this race. And, well, this battling is going on. We do have one off track. That's the 48 at Brockton Packard. And he is just hard into the wall. And actually, I take that back. It's the 48 is what it's showing, but the car shows one number, and the scoring showing another.
Yeah, this is kind of a well-known thing. Some drivers forget to change their numbers while changing schemes, and it happened here. This is Brockton Packard, who continues to have issues. You can just tell those tires are really lit up. They're extremely warm, which is making it hard to really turn into these corners, has to stay low. And also with some of the damage, might be some steering issues with this 48 machine, as Packard just going to be pulling it off, going to be letting the drivers behind him go by. That's Eric Stamp. Stamp luckily able to gain another position, so shouldn't be losing too much ground to the drivers ahead, but this is disastrous for that of Brockton Packard, who honestly at this point might think about coming into pit road. Otherwise he might be caught, but he's thinking about just staying out there. He's going to be trying to hope to not go a lap down before that comp caution comes out at the end of lap 16.
Yeah, I don't know whether this is good or bad for Brockton Packard, but I was thinking the same thing he just did. I would have just cut the course, taken the penalty. You need to slow down, get those tires, scuffed a little bit, get that dirt and grass off of them, and try to do what you can. So I don't know if that's great minds thinking alike, or the fact that I don't race anymore and I'm in the booth, I am producing that if that's bad for him. I'm not really sure which one that points towards, as he goes off there a little bit, but maybe those tires are about clean by now. He can get back up the pace, but we'll just have to kind of wait and see. But that battle for a second is still underway.
Oh boy, Grant, got to be careful. Can't be making that type of mistake, driving right over the Blue Turtles. That is not a friendly place for your car. That could be giving yourself some internal pressure and damage. And here comes Trenton Jump, capitalizing on the mistake the 52 made, as Jump back up into second position. But as we've been touching on this battle for second, they've been battling so hard. Braxton DeWeese, he is gone, and there is no one near that 8 machine.
Yeah, that 8 machine is 8 seconds ahead of second place and third place because they're so close there together. As you can see, cars going on another portion of this track. That is how far he is ahead of some of them. And a new paint job on there that looks like Alan's Art Images, a lime green. And Sam, that's not the first lime green car we have seen here in the last couple of days. So is lime green possibly making a comeback here in the world of racing? I know in the form of racing that I typically do in real life on dirt side, people don't like the color green. They think it's bad luck.
Yeah, I mean, that bad luck might be coming from, a lot of drivers thinking that, Green Lake, having a four-leaf clover in a way, that green color could be phasing them, but might be finding some luck in other ways, as Braxton DeWeese doing well, but Brockton Packard just could not handle the damage anymore into pit road, and looks like he's going to be going with the manual to repair. So that means he's going to be in pit road way longer, already a lap down. Got to be careful not going multiple laps down, as Papa Smith might be taking that lucky dog position here, as we're seeing some of the best racing on track. This is what's going on from 7th back to 9th. But currently in the middle of all that, it's Logan Brakey, as well as that of Ross Tatum having great battles. It's actually Rob Sherwood that continues to have great racing. It's that of Ross Tatum into pit road.
Yeah, we'll see if this is a standard stop. We are lap 14. That means that competition caution is going to be coming out in 2 laps, and he is coming down for tires and fuel. Obviously, pit road going to close at lap 15 for these guys. So he is coming in right before it closes. He's going to take 4 tires and fuel, as well as Brockton Packard. Took him 60 seconds. He's off the track, and this is this pit road I'm talking about. It's got a secret. You can't find anyone behind it. You can hide behind this wall, but you come out right here. People can be coming around that track as well, and then immediately getting onto the brakes. So that is a very, very tricky spot to be coming back out onto the track pit road. Obviously, for Ross Tatum, nobody was there. And I don't think anybody else is going to be coming down pit road before this competition caution.
Yeah, we're waiting on the official call. Pit road being closed, as I believe we are on lap 15. So pit road is officially closed for these drivers. And just got note that this is the reverse scheme of that of Braxton DeWeese's original paint scheme. So, rocking, reverse colors of your original. This is something that a lot of drivers have started to use if you want to change it up at road courses, and it is a certainly defined color, and it's a great way to point out the leader. Hey, look where the lime number 8 is on track, and where everyone else is St. Braxton DeWeese getting back on track. Is everyone, a couple of other drivers were just going into the infield to start their next lap here, and I gotta say, Charles, this has been a dominating performance by Braxton DeWeese, kind of giving me a sense and feel of his win that he got back at Darlington for the round of 12, second race of that round. Just dominated it, got his win, and moved on to the next round. Easy peasy.
Yeah, Braxton DeWeese, one of those drivers, he, like him, you love him, hate him, it doesn't matter. He's going to go out there and show you what he's got. And he does it in dominating fashion more times than not. And looks like he is going to cross the line, and we should see the caution come out at the completion of this lap. So he will probably win. It's not a stage, but, if it was, he would have won it. But it's technically not worth anything. And actually, it's going to be the completion of lap 15, not completion of lap 16. So now we know it's at the completion of the lap before starting lap 16, but the caution is out, and a dominating performance is all you can say for that 8 machine.
Yeah, and take note of that of Ross Tatum. Tatum did take a pit stop. He took tires as well for the 21. Only driver that's on the lead lap that came into pit road before pit road closed. So Ross Tatum, if he can catch up to DeWeese quick enough, that's the one thing about road course racing, is the leader can get to pit road before everyone else when it opens. So even if you've pitted earlier, you might not have enough time to catch up to the leader and take advantage of pitting earlier and staying on the lead lap.
Yeah, because right now we're looking, he is slowing down. At the time of you saying that, Braxton DeWeese had a 12-second gap. Now it's about 11, and it had been as low as 10. When he's on these speed spots like this, where he's on the oval track, he's gaining a lot of speed, and he does not come in. I'm wondering if pit road is technically closed still, because they have not reached the pace car.
Yeah, still trying to catch up to the pace car is Braxton DeWeese, which I believe the pace car is going to be at the entry of pit road here. So DeWeese should be catching up to the pace car now, and then everyone else still trying to catch up, and they're pretty much stacked on one another further back, as DeWeese is now up to the pace car. Everyone else, their goal, figure out how to catch up to the 8, who was already just waiting for his time to come into pit road.
Yeah, he definitely was, and this is, again, what we predict is going to be the only caution of this race.
Only caution, and, with it being the only caution, drivers certainly going to be trying to catch up, and they just are. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll come back, pit road service, in just a few.
Hey, it's Wesley Outland on the set of the Bull Ring on Speed 51 TV, but I also want to remind everybody that you can keep up with coverage of esports with the Northwest Cup and Truck Series, the American iRacing League, SNB Cup Series, and so much more on your home for sim racing, LSRTV. Of course, remember, you can watch it, and then you can listen to it on CRN, the community radio network, at wearecrn.com. Check us out when you can.
Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, right? Our Ram trucks, truck of the year, amazing trucks. We have fun Jeeps, and then the exciting Dodge and Chrysler products. Lots of performance there, lots of excitement there. They've done a great job in really creating a full scope product line that could suit everybody's needs. Whether it's a family vehicle or a fun vehicle or a utility type vehicle or a big truck, we've got it all for our customers.
An automobile purchase shouldn't be hard. The hardest part for the consumer in the whole process should be selecting the vehicle. We have the online credit application. We can bring the car to you to see it, to test drive it, to deliver it. We have all the tools in place, and we've had them in place for a long time. I just think now we've perfected it. It's become part of our culture. We've, kind of taken it to the next level. It is easy, and it should be easy, and it should be fun, and it shouldn't take a whole lot of time.
Big thanks to all those that sponsor us on LSR TV. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the SNB Cup Series presented by LSR TV for the live simracingtv.com 125. Competition caution underway and pit stops now underway as you see our leader, Braxton DeWeese, coming in to get service done for himself. And looking at the drivers that are all coming in, one staying out. I believe that is going to be Ross Tatum, that deciding to stay out for himself. He pitted back on lap 13. So he's still going to have to make a pit stop before this race is over. But our top 3 all come in cleanly. And you saw there the 0-3. His car completely pushed out, came out to a completely new scheme. That is called a fast repair. The drivers all have one. The 0-3 has already used his fast repair. He has 0 more of those. So if he needs to get repairs done, he's going to have to sit and wait for his team to repair it instead of it instantly being done. Braxton DeWeese out of pit road first. But with that Ross staying out, he's going to be having to work his way past the 21. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us on LSR TV. My name is Sam Dyer. With me is Charles Wu. And Charles, it has been a good race so far. A lot of hard racing. A couple of drivers making mistakes, such that of Brockton Packard, Eric Stamp, and Matt Dyer. But obviously, everyone got themselves cleaned up. Competition caution's over. Now we race it to the end.
Yeah, we're going to race this thing out. Probably about 36 laps, maybe 37 when we take the green, 38 to go right now. Again, majority of this race still left to go when you think about it. So should be very, very interesting to see how they differ their strategies from the beginning to now. Definitely something to watch. Did anybody do anything to possibly catch up with that 8 machine, or is he just going to dominate the rest of this race? It's all up in the air. You really don't know what's going to happen. That's why it's racing. It's unpredictable, it's crazy, and it's fun to watch, fun to call here tonight, especially when you go to something like the Roval. where you take an oval and a road course, you merge them together like Progressive, and you call it a Roval. It makes for an interesting race.
Yeah, I mean, it's about 90% of Charlotte Motor Speedway. The oval configuration is used here for the Roval, so you get to see a lot of the oval being used, which is so interesting to be seen because of the fact that you got to make sure your car is set up. It's a fixed setup that these drivers are working with, so everyone's on the same page, but this setup needs to work for the oval configuration as well as aspects of the road course that's in the infield. So whoever was in charge of making this setup here this weekend certainly had a handful getting it prepared.
Yeah, they definitely did. And, a big shout out to everyone tuning in here tonight, to all the fans out there watching. We keep an eye on social media and stuff like that to let everyone know what's going on. I know I was checking in on some social media earlier, and I saw a fan out there screaming. I did see that one. And we do have Randy Allen tuning in here tonight, obviously, from the sponsor of that number 8 machine. So always good to see if you can put your sponsors in victory lane. Ultimately, that is the goal, to get them recognized in those finishes. Get your pictures taken with the trophy girls, the trophy. And, my favorite part, I don't know about yours, Sam, that's the chicken dinner that comes with that win.
Oh, absolutely. That winner chicken dinner certainly has been Braxton DeWeese for most of this season. He's got 6 wins, trying to get his 7th of the season for this one, which, I mean, Braxton DeWeese, you think of the first half of the season, DeWeese was winning every single race. He was just in a dominating form, then tapered off once we got closer to the end of the regular season. But here during the playoffs, I think really Martinsville was the only race where we haven't seen DeWeese dominate. He dominated Darlington, won that one, would have won Las Vegas, but got taken out by a lap car. So DeWeese has been on the hot streak, hot hand so far since the playoffs have started, and I would not be surprised if he continues this on. But it's road course racing. It's all about consistency, not making any mistakes, and this is where we got to see the 8. How composed is he going to be on this restart? Because he's not going to be the lead car. That's going to be Ross Tatum, who's going to be on the inside, this 21. If he can get a good launch, defend, maybe bump one another. We've already seen damage on the 0-3 can affect you. Would there be any contact potentially from the 21 and the 8, who we have seen have tempers and also an altercation already this season with one another? It's playoff racing. Who knows what's going to happen?
Yeah, tempers flare, and, the best asset of a racer is a short-term memory when it comes to making their own mistakes. They say a good racer has a short-term memory because of that. But I can promise you, when somebody does you dirty, that short-term memory turns into, the memory of an elephant, and it lasts forever. You remember everything that everybody's ever done to you, and, you may not be the type to go out there and road rage right into another car and put them in the outside wall and, get kicked out of a league or something like that, or whatever consequences, suspension will happen from it. But you will possibly go out there and make it as difficult as you can for that person to advance or get by you on the track to get the points they need. So, different strokes for different folks. I guess they like defending their spot or getting payback in different ways. We'll see how it goes for these two up front as the green flag is back out and underway.
Green flag in the air for the LiveSimRacingTV.com. 125. It's going to be Ross Tatum on the inside. Braxton DeWeese to the outside. But DeWeese holding strong and with a power move to the outside, trying to make the pass and does clear the 8 right back to the point with Ross Tatum. Now trying to figure out how to get back around, but it's going to be Trent Jump as well as others following behind. It's the 0-3, the 52, and the 12. Jacob Grant, his new companion, well, I should say old companion, reunited. It's Caleb Smith, who's in 5th position, trying to move up to 4th.
Yeah, and that 21 of Ross Tatum, he assists on older tires, 6 laps versus 2. And you can see exactly what that does for that car. He dropped like a rock to, I wouldn't say to the back, but he definitely did not get the launch that he probably could have got with fresh tires. So he falls back to 4th position. We'll see if he can rebound. Once these tires get to a certain level, Sam, as you know as well as I do, at some point they kind of level off. The question is, at what lap do they start to level off? And then maybe, he can use those older tires and get back to the front. That it's all the things we'll have to keep an eye on throughout this race. But right now, he's holding his own in fourth against Caleb Smith. Smith not happy about it, though. He's going to try to make a quick pass.
That was a very early braking zone for the 21, and Caleb Smith had to be evasive, trying to get out of the way, and was able to, almost losing and making contact with one another. This is the battle for fourth place that we're watching currently. Ross Tatum in the 21 trying to defend his position, but the 12, Caleb Smith, can't get back onto the throttle, and now under fire from that of Tyler Stooksbury. The tight end loose off, gonna be to get the crossover move, and a lot of slicing and dicing going on. Caleb Smith now under pressure by others after that one slip up.
Yeah, Sam, to describe exactly what's going on right now is it's kind of spread out, not as bad as it was. If you've ever been to your kitchen when you were little and your mom's baking, or to a bakery where they have those little funnels that have the cake mix in them, and one of those cake mix funnel things where they put the cream, ice cream on the cake, when it gets clogged up, that's what that 21 is right now. He is, some dried up, frosting in the into that little pot or tube, and he's causing a bottleneck for all these cars behind him. And you see they're sliding around. They're having to make an evasive move. This could either go one of one ways. Either he's going to get out of the way, or we're going to see a little bit of a wreck happening behind him.
Well, luckily, they're going to be holding on for now. Like I said, a little bit of spacing out going on currently. But it's going to be, again, Caleb Smith. You can just see he wants to be aggressive in this final chicane. But if you keep on hitting those rumble strips, getting a little bit too high, and bouncing as hard as they are, that internal damage can start to bubble up as Ross Tatum. It got a little bit of a, breather from Caleb Smith for a second. They drifted back. Well, the pressure is right back on. Stooksbury going to be trying to hound and get by the 21. And he's right at the quarter panel. Stooksbury trying to put the pressure on, but a great launch out of the corner for this 21. Ross Tatum trying to do everything in his power, and he is doing a great job currently holding off for this fourth place position. But oh boy, Stooksbury holds on, gets loose. Woo! He's got it.
Yeah, what a save, Tyler Stooksbury. That car was dirt tracking it sideways anymore, and that car may not have rotated back around. He does do it, as we'll jump back to Tyler Stooksbury, and now he's got the 12 of Caleb Smith right on his back bumper, and I think he's going to make the pass here. We'll see, as it looks like DJ Daniel as well is going to sneak by, but the 51 of Evan Coleman can't quite capitalize off that little slide, so we'll see. Stooksbury down low.
That's Rob Sherwood you just saw at the bus stop, completely spun around with the 22. Didn't even have a shot to attempt that corner. And you see a little bit of crinkle on the 88. Looks like there could have been bumping action, as you're going to see that of the 88, Matt Dyer. The 22 of Rob Sherwood going to be getting onto the racing surface, and it's going to be on the entry of the bus stop. Saw the 22 completely spun around. Let's see exactly what got Rob Sherwood such out of balance and issues for himself to be in the braking zone, and Dyer did not slow down enough. Absolutely pile drive the 22. I think the majority of that damage going to the 88, but man, that is not what you want to see from Rob Sherwood at all. And Dyer, as a playoff driver, that is probably one of the worst case scenarios for himself. Heavy front end damage. It's Rob Sherwood into pit road. Dyer, he is not coming to pit road. Still just running with that huge front end damage.
Yeah, your car is not looking the way you want it to. You see the chrome on the side. That's supposed to be there. We're starting to see some chrome and metal look to the front. That is not part of the design. Right there you see it. As the Ford logo is almost scratched off. So bad news there. And doesn't look bad enough that I think it's going to affect radiator or anything, maybe overheat, but then again, it very well could. We don't know. We'll have to keep an eye on Matt Dyer in that 88 machine and see if he has any heating issues from that. Meanwhile, look at this battle up front. The 03 of Trent Jump has his car fixed, and he is all over the back bumper of Braxton Weiss for the first time here tonight with a clean car.
Yeah, Braxton DeWeese, the start of this run actually put down the fastest lap of the day with a 1 minute 21 second, .97 second time. And I got to say, that is the first driver to put down a 1 minute 21 second lap time of everyone this race. Everyone else has been running anywhere from a 122 to a 126. But with Braxton DeWeese running that fast of a lap time early, that means he is using and burning off those tires sooner than what we've seen Trent Jump do. And Jump, taking note of the mistakes that he did at the start of this race in those first 3 laps, burning off the rear tires, getting extremely loose. I think he's figured it out. I don't have to be as aggressive on a throttle to really gain time on the driver in front of me, which has kept this battle for the lead so close. It's less than a second, and the 0-3 of Trent Jump still hounding and hindering that of the 8 of Braxton DeWeese.
Yeah, he's not letting him get out of his sights right now. There is a little bit more gap than there was, but still right there, 0.6 seconds, now 0.5, back to 0.6. So he's sticking right there. You know, 0.5, 0.6 seconds away. That is striking distance. That is, you make a mistake, and I'm going to be right there to capitalize off of it. And to be honest, that may be all you really need to do sometimes. As I want to take a look at that one machine. I thought, oh, sorry, it's 03, not one machine. He wants to be in the first spot, but I thought there was a little bit more damage, but it's not. It was just a shadow on the way the car was looking, but he is right there. Grant wants to make something happen, but just maybe not the car here tonight to make something happen.
Yeah, Jacob Grant currently 3 seconds back, so he's still got a lot of work to kind of rebound. But where we could possibly see this time being gained or lost is going to be under pit road. These drivers that came to pit road on lap 17 of our competition caution, they're going to have to come in, and our fuel window for these drivers was anything from 18 to 20 laps of fuel. So we're expecting at least 1 green flag pit stop, if not 2, for some of these drivers. So we'll see. When does Braxton DeWeese want to come in? When does Trenton Jump want to come in? Because for both of them, they're probably going to be aiming for the ladder of laps, 20 of laps being put down on this fuel run. So they're looking around lap 37 to 38. It's going to be their window that they're aiming for, or even sooner than that at around lap, 35. But you kind of want to go past to 36 if possible, just based on, turning this race into a one-stop.
Yeah, and there as we went on board with Braxton DeWeese, it popped up. I did say High Five Racing. That is incorrect. Not sure where our graphics team did with the correct logo. We had it in prior to the 2-week break, and apparently we had some gremlins get in our stuff as well. That is supposed to be Braxton DeWeese Racing. He's on his own team, and man, right there you can see Jump is just all over the back bumper. That's why we wanted this view, and you can see when they get into the the actual part of this, like right here where it's the track for the oval, Braxton DeWeese has the speed, but when they get into the inner workings of this on the road course side of things, Jump may have a little bit faster car. He's all over his back bumper in those sections, but definitely DeWeese has the speed on the oval side.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing for Braxton DeWeese has to be practice, because you can hear when he gets into the throttle there, coming from the infield back onto the racing surface, he got fully into the throttle when he was pointed straight. For a lot of the drivers here, they've tried to get fully into the throttle, and it has just been wiggling and losing the rear end constantly. DeWeese, you can just hear the patience of, for some drivers, right when they feel like they're at the center of the corner, they'll get onto the throttle. But for DeWeese, he still lets the car coast a little bit more. So when he's able to get into the throttle, he can maximize the speed. And that's where the 8's been gaining the ground, keeping himself in front of Trenton Jump. And big credit goes to DeWeese and the practice that he puts in and week out, making sure that he is on top of the board. And he really, I think that is the biggest thing for DeWeese. It's coming into the playoffs. He wants to defend his championship. He wants to become the first back-to-back champion, 2-time champion for the SNB Cup Series. And he certainly has the tools to get it done this season.
Yeah, it definitely does. And, not only do we want to see Braxton DeWeese be the first to go back-to-back, it's always cool to see a driver do that. We're hoping for the best for 2022 for the SNB Cup Series. Obviously, we won't go into full detail, but obviously with Christian Gardner no longer being in here because of wrecking Braxton DeWeese intentionally in the race, that was the sponsor. With the sponsor gone, obviously, sponsorship is needed to keep us here. So we want to be back So hopefully all of that plays out, and we're back to see if he can go 3 for a row, or somebody will upset that as well. But that is all the stuff, we just kind of have to keep and wait for. And on that note, as we're watching this battle kind of spread out for the lead, we are happy to announce, however, that we finally settled it in talks, and we're actually in talks now to cover another series in this league. Potentially, I know Jeff Stabnell is taking care of that, obviously, as I am here, calling the race with you, Sam. But for the ones that do know and the ones that don't know, the Sim 500 Esports League, a huge league. We just were watching their race from Bristol last Monday. 38 drivers started Bristol. That is a good car count for a short track. Excuse me. So definitely looking forward to starting with them in 2022.
Yeah, that's not even a good count just for short tracks. That's a great count for just being in the playoffs. That is an amazing car count where the drivers are really trying to put their best foot forward to make sure that everyone comes in, and we're really excited for what we're going to be showing here on LSRTV into 2022. But as the front-end battle's been, dicing with one another, kind of spreading out, we're going to fall back to 6th place, where drivers have been duking it out. It's Tyler Stooksbury, DJ Daniel, Evan Coleman. These 3 drivers, it has been almost Tokyo drifting from DJ Daniels to try to hold off Stooksbury. He loses that position, but Shadow Racing, number 5, still a little bit out of control, as Evan Coleman's got to be careful of where he wants to even try to make the pass, because on the exit of almost every corner, the 5 looks out of control and ready to either hit someone else or go off course.
Yeah, and Evan Coleman, good driver, just has not had luck here at the Roval tonight. When people have made mistakes, everyone's been able to get by and capitalize off of it. He was not able to, and then it just got worse for the 5. He's got stuck behind him, as there is Papa Smith going to be back there, Chris Smith, getting passed by some cars. But, Coleman just hasn't had the luck at the Roval. And, when he's right there, like I mentioned, he just hasn't been able to capitalize off the mistakes. So it's kept him further back in the field than he wanted to. Still a top 10. So not a bad night overall. But when you think about being in playoffs and playoffs going on and all that, and knowing that there's only 17 cars, 10th place, definitely not where you want to be. You want to be a little higher up, especially when you have people like Deweese, Grant, Tatum ahead of you. Those are guys that you're going to have to compete with in the Final Four if you make it.
Whoa, there goes CJ Daniel drifting around, but able to hold on for the 5. Going to be just giving up that position to Evan Coleman, which was 7th place. And Daniels, I know he doesn't want to come into pit road sooner than lap 35 or 36, but with the way that he is driving on these burnt up tires, he might have to come into pit road. But yeah, touching on Evan Coleman. Coleman actually finished 2nd place to, I believe, second place at that of Daytona at the end of the season, where that 51 team looked very quick for himself and honestly could have won that race if he was in the right, position. I know Dyer was trying to push Evan Coleman to a win there. We're going to Talladega next. Difference, a bigger, larger super speedway track than Daytona, but expecting a lot of pressure to see on the 51 if he can get the win done to lock himself into the championship 4, or maybe he'll help out his friend Matt Dyer and try to get a win. I know with CEM Motorsports, that was Caleb Smith, Evan Coleman, and Matt Dyer. That's where CEM comes from. We'll see how they, I know they're branching away. Evan Coleman and Matt Dyer stick with one another. We've already seen the 12 move on to a different team and see Brockton Packard pit road getting service done. This is a little bit earlier than I would like from this 48 team. Most likely he's going to have to come back into pit road, but we've seen that of Brockton Packard having issues. He's most likely going to have to make another pit stop, which tire-wise, drivers are not too worried. They've got 5 sets coming into this race. One they started out with, 4 in pit road. But honestly, next week, I'm excited to see, with this 2-week break, drivers have had to pick and choose and find new friends to work with. It is going to be a very different super speedway race at Talladega next week than what we have seen the last 2 times at Daytona.
Yeah, I'm shocked that he came in as early as he did, but maybe not. Doing the math here, again, this is napkin math. He was on 6 laps when they were on 2, so 4-lap difference. He was on lap 16 of that stint, so yeah, that still is about minimum 2 laps earlier than we would expect him to come in, possibly 4 earlier if he wanted to push that all the way to 20. So he's coming in every 16 laps, so or he came in technically a little earlier than that last time, but 15 to 16 laps for that 48 or 24 machine of Brockton Packard. So maybe on a different strategy we're not privy to here, but we'll just have to kind of wait and see. So far, the strategy I don't think is working. He is 1 lap down.
And as well as when we were talking about Brockton Packard, that of DJ Daniels, who we saw getting those tires were worn out, slipping and sliding everywhere. The 5 has come out of pit road. Now going to be battling with the 22 of Rob Sherwood. And with the 5 having freshness of tires, should be able to make these passes with ease. As right now, looking at the tire difference, based on DeWeese's, we're just based off the leader, Braxton DeWeese, his best time was a 1:21 second lap time, almost a 1:22. Now he's going to have about a 3-second difference. Expecting a 3-second difference here with DJ Daniel, where he's able to just pull away from everyone else because he's got the grip to make the pass and go forward.
It definitely does. And looking here, I just noticed Zach Peterson, his last lap did not count in number 96. Obviously going too far off course, getting an X, and that's a little difficult. You can actually go quite a ways off course, like you just saw there, and not really considered off course. So it'll be interesting to see what happened there to Zach Peterson. But sometime during that lap, it did not count. It was an invalid lap. Not that it's really going to affect it too much. That, however, will if you get into the wall.
Yeah, I think also with getting that X, could have came from when he accidentally cut the chicane, and because he did not yield in time, if you still have a yield penalty up and you cross the line, that will invalidate your lap time. So that could have been the issue for the 96 on why his lap time didn't count, but like you said there, that damage that he just got, that for sure is going to hurt the 96. As we move up to see Logan Brakey, how the 2's been running, as he's got Josh Altus going to be on his back bumper. 2 drivers right now. You've got Logan Brakey second in points, but he's only got a 3-point buffer and technically a 4-point buffer over that of Josh Altus, who comes in 6th in the points in today's race. So right now, Logan Brakey, yes, he is running strong, but he's got to be concerned about, if he makes any mistake, he can lose ground over the drivers that are outside of the top 4. And, we touched on drivers that are going to be having to come into the pit road. Expect Ross Tatum here in the next 2 laps or so. He's going to have to find himself into pit road as well.
Yeah, and that's Monster Energy number 21. He is definitely going to be headed down pit road soon. These guys looking here, he pitted on lap 13. Everyone else lap 17. And we got Chris Smith going off course, as he's just going to drive it down to the bottom, try to get that thing back under control and get rid of any penalty he has there. Like you talked about, those slowdown penalties. So basically, if you cut the course, depending on how bad you cut it, you will get so many seconds that it tells you slow down or we're going to black flag you, basically. And you have to slow down. And sometimes, if it's little, it's no big deal. Sometimes it's very detrimental, 5-6 seconds. When you're, this close and you're on a road course like this, 6 seconds can mean the difference in, 3-4 spots on the track.
Yeah, it certainly can change a lot. And for that of Chris Smith, it has been, that aspect where we've seen him go off course. That's about the 4th time I've seen him this race go over that brim and have issues. So 55, going to have to find, a better braking zone for himself to slow down so he doesn't get himself in any more trouble. To see Packard able to make the pass and moving forward. But that is, honestly, that last chicane going to be the hardest part, where we just missed Logan Brakey going and messing up that last corner, going over the brim. And oh boy, there goes the 94, almost at the outside wall, locking it up. And whew, that could have been a detrimental accident for the 94 of Altus. But he holds on, still within striking distance. But that's 2 drivers, 2 different corners, massive mistakes. They counteract, and Logan Brakey back in front of the 94 for 8th position.
Yeah, do you see on there that sponsor, Solar Energy, for the 94? of Josh Altis. Well, he may have the sun on there. He just lit those tires up big time, sliding and having to catch the brakes. Obviously, we were talking to him. That is his new job. He's selling solar panels, trying to get everyone to go electric. I don't mind. I might go electric in my house, but definitely I'm glad cars are not racing electric yet. I don't know how I feel about that, but the sun is shining now compared to earlier, as you can see it right there, and gives us a chance to check on that weather again, Sam. It still says mostly cloudy, but you were right. Track temp has gone up from 106 to 109, so the track temp actually going up here in tonight's race.
Yeah, that's the main thing. When it says mostly cloudy, yes, we saw it heavily cloudy at the start of this race. And, even after this next pit stop, we could see it again as want to move up to Papa Smith as I believe the 55. There was some contact. If we can get a replay on that. Contact between second place and the 55 machine. It's going to be one of those things where just got passed by the leader was that of Chris Smith, but the 0-3 of Trenton Jump coming in with a head of steam, had just gotten by Matt Dyer, putting the 88 a lap down, and just probably a miscommunication at this point, or maybe just unknown of the closing rate, but contact made into the wall and nowhere to go was Trenton Jump.
Yeah, the 55 caught the wall, and the 03 of Trenton Jump just caught him a lot faster than he thought he was going to because of that contact. And once again, the 03 of Trenton Jump, he had just got that repaired. He had a fast car. Did he have a winning car? I'm not sure. He was losing ground as it was. And now we know, based on what we saw in the first half of this race, with only 20 laps to go now, he got that damage and it hindered him from possibly getting the win. I think that may have just sealed the fate for that 03 machine. That being said, that's his own fate. We still have the fate of Braxton DeWeese out on the track too. If something happens to that 8 machine, that could change this up. If he gets too much damage, so far hasn't really happened, but hey, anything can happen on a racetrack. Just have to hit your marks and be smooth.
Oh, absolutely. That is the biggest thing for Braxton DeWeese. Just be smooth and hope that the lap traffic just gets out of the way. Next driver that Braxton DeWeese is going to be going after is Zach Peterson, as pit road starting to get a little bit more busy. Matt Dyer just got done with his service, as well as Ross Tatum getting done. Now coming in, I believe it's going to be Eric Stamp, but drivers up front, they have to make sure to stay smooth and bank on, lap traffic not really influencing this race anymore, as we've already seen the 96 heavily damaged. We'll see if he gets out of the way or continues to pressure, as already into turn number 1. Braxton DeWeese right on the back bumper. Got to be careful and hope that you don't make any mistakes. DeWeese going to be taking on the outside and clearly making the pass before the next corner.
Yeah, he gets him nice and clean, and that's what you've got to do. You cannot get caught behind lap traffic for too long. You definitely don't want to get caught up in any mistakes they made or may make as you're trying to get by them. It's saying it's not disrespectful, it's not meant rude, but there's a reason you're at the back of the field. It's not to say you're a bad driver. As you can see right here, just, some mistakes were made. Got it to the wall, stuff like that, or, flat out just the car is not handling good. The setup's not the way you liked. Maybe you prepared it for a hot day and it's a cool day. So many things can happen to make a car not handle the way that it was intended to, how you wanted it to, and you're at the back of the field. So if you're the leader, you have to be aware of these guys that, their car may not do what they wanted to do. So you have to be on, high alert anytime you go by a lap.
Yeah, and like you said, nothing against these guys. I mean, we've seen Zach Peterson be one of those drivers that can be successful. As you see the A-line, number 8 in pit road, getting service done. Trent Jump going to be following suit with the 8 machine. This was around the furthest that these drivers could go fuel-wise, so I'm not surprised to see Braxton DeWeese coming into pit road, nor Trenton Jump. Some of the drivers, though, that are maybe running a little bit slower times might be able to go a little bit further than our leaders fuel-wise, as you see also coming into pit road is going to be Caleb Smith, soon to be joining into the fray of our picture here. But getting service done is our top 2 of that of Trenton Jump and Braxton DeWeese. as that of Jacob Grant. It will stay out for an extra lap as they'll try to stay out there, lead a lap possibly here, as Deweese back on course and trying to take that lead position back as he sees our leader right in front of him. The lead's only 2.5 seconds, showing how dominating Braxton Deweese has been. The fact that he almost just pitted and kept the lead.
Yeah, now you really have to wonder about this one. You know, we talked about getting around a lap car, but lap cars typically will, you know, they'll get out of your way if you're the leader. But if you're Braxton Deweese trying to get by Jacob Grant, really the tide is turned. Now Jacob Grant really doesn't have to get out of your way. He's the leader, even though you got fresher tires. I don't think it's going to be a matter of if he can. I think Braxton Deweese is going to say see you later, and he does with those fresher tires. So we're talking 0 laps on him versus 20. That was no competition at all, so didn't matter. But that would have been on Braxton Deweese to try to get by the 52 of Grant, and, well, as you see there, he did it pretty effortlessly.
Thanks for being my placeholder. I'm now going to be gone. Braxton Deweese back to the point. Jake Grant, we wait for him to come into pit road, as well as a couple of other drivers. Evan Coleman, we still are waiting as here comes the 52 to get service done. Evan Coleman, the next driver that we're going to be waiting to come into pit road, as well as that is Zach Peterson. Those are the last couple of drivers that have to come in, as you know, everyone else that's done a pit stop should be good from here on out, except for that of Rob Sherwood. I think Rob Sherwood might be in a position, as well as Matt Dyer, where they might have to come in again because of pitting a little bit too soon. But hey, we've seen Matt Dyer stretch fuel out way longer than we expected already this season. Wouldn't be surprised the idiot can do it again. As we wait for Jacob Grant to get back out on track, he's got to catch up to Caleb Smith, who is in third currently, the 12. He's up 10 positions, our biggest mover of the day in the top 3, our last road course winner at Sonoma. He's going to need a lot of help to get another win for himself in this 12 machine, but hey, we'll see what the AZ 12 can do, as a new paint job for this 12 team after announcing that he'll be joining High Five Racing once again. Was a part of the team back in Season 1 of the SNB Cup Series, and now is back home after a little bit of time away. Good to see Caleb Smith running well. Again, highest mover, up 10 positions from where he qualified.
And that's what we hinted on a little bit earlier on in this race is, you know, he's already, you know, he's still part of CEM right now, but he's going to High Five at the end of the season. But he already said, nah, I'm changing everything. I'm taking your logos off. I'm going with a new look here. That is what we're talking about. Is there any animosity between teammates now on there, or are they still buddy-buddy and they, you know, it's all good? That could all be a factor next week at the Super Speedway when you need your teammates. Are your teammates good? Are you good enough friends with them that they're still going to work with you, or are they going to be like, nah, man, you're leaving the team, that's fine, but you went ahead and stripped all of our naming off. You're not racing for us essentially now. You're still kind of racing for them already. Will that affect how they work with him going into that next week's race at Talladega? That's answers we will only get next Wednesday.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about Caleb Smith and CEM. I'll also think of Braxton Deweese. I mean, coming to the start of the playoffs, that's when Braxton Deweese got moved from High Five and had to move solo after being removed from the team. So a lot of shifting up's been going on throughout this season of drivers moving teams, you know, deciding, hey, I'm going to be on my own. Hey, we're going to team up with this driver and make our own team. There's been a lot of swapping, and with this new aero package, it's all about teamwork because you need to have at least 3 to, honestly, 6 drivers to make moves on the outside. And if you don't have a full team working together in unison, someone wants to be a little bit selfish, watch that team crash and burn at a super speedway, it could happen. You could be very selfish and do successful things just leaving your team high and dry, but at the same time, if you're the lone driver and everyone else is against you, you can easily not have a shot to win at Talladega next week.
Yeah, and you want every shot you can. You know, if you're looking like someone Braxton Deweese, you know, this is a good way, you know, to get a win here at, you know, the Roval. Because if you can pick up the win here, or even someone like Grant or Tatum, if some of these guys can get high enough in the points that a bad points night wouldn't hurt them too bad, get all the padding you can. In Braxton Deweese's case, that is a win. And assuming he can finish as strong as he's doing right now, that is basically, everybody here is familiar with Survivor. This is his immunity idol right here. If he can get the win, that is your immunity idol going into the next race, knowing, look, I could, crash and burn here. You can wreck me. You can do whatever you want. Turn me. I'm still moving on, and you're going to have to deal with me at the next track.
Yeah, and that's why this win is so important for Braxton DeWeese. He doesn't need to worry about the stress. This is actually going to be kind of similar to how Eric Stamp was feeling back in the round of 12. When Stamp won that first, Martinsville race of the round of 12, he took that pressure was off of that 69 team. They didn't have to worry about the next two races, really, because he knew he was making it into this race. And for that of Eric Stamp, he has done a great recovery. First lap, spun out, fell all the way back to 17th place, and he has recovered, now back to 8th place for that 69 team. Great job for himself. But, you look at all the drivers in blue. Those are your drivers that are in the championship in the round of 8, trying to still go for a championship. And for some of them that are doing well, you got to think of Jacob Grant. He came in as our bubble driver, doing well, running in 4th place. Might be able to rebound, get a 3rd place finish. He's got a lot of work to do so for this team. But this is exactly what the 52 needs to do going into Talladega, where we know the big one could strike and could ruin the shot as he's drifting around here. Don't want to do that too often. Those tires, got to be careful. You got to hope to take this set to the end of this race. Otherwise, you might have to see this team going back into pit road, which, speaking of pit road, driver's been in there for quite a long time. Josh Altis, issues for the 94 team.
Yeah, he's got solar power on there. We may have to talk to him later on. Maybe that's a, electric car. He might have ran out of power. He's having to recharge there. We'll see. We'll talk to him in a bit. DJ Daniel out of the race. And I want to go over to Rob Sherwood for a minute. Looking at his stint right now, 19 laps. He has got to be coming into pit road very soon.
Yeah, I don't know how he's still out here. He has been just cruising at a slower pace than everyone else, just trying to go as far as he can before having to come into pit road. And this is a gutsy call from this 22 team. Rob Sherwood is doing everything in his power to try to stretch it out, get the best finish possible. And I think for him, trying not to go a lap down. I think once he goes a lap down and gets caught by the 8 of Braxton DeWeese, that's most likely when we're going to be seeing this 22 team going to pit road. But he has got to be just hurting for any type of grip currently because he's been out there, and here he comes into pit road.
Yeah, we almost figured he had to come in this time, or we were going to see him stopped on the side of the road out of gas somewhere, calling for a push from one of his buddies or a tow truck. But he comes down this time in that LSRTV number 22. It's looking right, too, as well, supporting us here for tonight's race. And right there, teammates together on pit road. Obviously, one of them having a little bit worse of luck than the other. It's just one of those things. Sometimes, you have good days and bad days. Tonight, the 94, Josh Altis not having the best day. His teammate in the top 10, not a terrific day, but obviously better than on pit road.
Yeah, I mean, for that of Rob Sherwood, he obviously wanted a better day for himself. As you touched on, pit road being dangerous. Woo! Brockton Packard was just about 3 car lengths sooner. He would have made contact with 22. And this should be one of our last pit stops of the day. There's a couple of drivers that are going to be on, the brink of needing to come into pit road again. But everyone should be good from this point on. I think the drivers I'm looking at, Matt Dyer, he's going to be one of the closest to have to be concerned about fuel, as well as Eric Stamp and Ross Tatum. Those are the 3 drivers I'm a little bit concerned with how their fuel is going to look at the end of this race. They're going to be about a lap or 2 shy from making it, so they're going to have to do a little bit of fuel saving. But with how spread out this field is, might be able to do so quite easily for this 88 team that you've seen heavily damaged. And he was the driver that ran into the back of the 22 of Rob Sherwood earlier in the race, and still is dealing with that front end damage, is the 88 car of Matt Dyer.
Yeah, and doing the math here, again, this is napkin math. If you have 7 laps for Braxton DeWeese, that's how many he's been on this stint. 11 laps ago, that is 18 laps of fuel that he would have used. Yes, we just saw Rob Sherwood go 19 laps, but you got to remember that Rob Sherwood is running much slower laps. He was running around 127s is what he was running. Braxton DeWeese's last lap, 124. He's running 3 seconds faster laps than Rob Sherwood. Faster means more fuel going to burn off. So, again, I'm with you. I don't think he can make it on fuel. I think he's going to be a lap or two short. Maybe a lap, as big as this track is, but he could start slowing down in those last 3 laps or so and maybe conserve a little bit. Maybe he could make it. Maybe that's what he's banking on. Maybe he's not. Well, again, we'll have to see, but fuel definitely going to be a close one here at the Roval.
Yeah, it certainly is, as some of the closest racing action on track. Going to be in the middle of the pack where drivers have been keeping it close, but for that of DeWeese, he's got about 4 seconds, almost 3, close to 4 seconds over that of Trenton Jump, who has damage on that 0-3 team. But it's going to be a battle for sure to watch out for, as Jump contact that he made with that of Chris Smith, who was a lap down when that contact happened. The 0-3 team, it's not a lot of damage, but you can see it's hindering, it's hurting, and also that tire wear of how hot this track is, as once again, it's the 55 and the 0-3 close to one another, but luckily Jump able to make the pass quickly and moving forward.
Yeah, and that was obviously the 55 just coming out of pit road. I want to note here, Chris Smith in that 55 just came down pit road, 24.3 seconds. That is not enough for a stop. A typical pit lane time is around 39 to 40 seconds. He is also not showing a time in his stall. He may have missed his stall coming down pit road and have to come back down again. And we'll see. I believe he may be. We'll have to wait and see if he comes back down. But I think the 55 may have missed his pit stall when he came down to try to make his final stop.
Well, also another thing to watch out for is if you have a lot of incident points, you can be given a drive-through penalty. And I believe that could have been what exactly was given to Chris Smith, was a drive-through penalty. He's got to be a little bit careful, though, because when you get that penalty, you only have about a 5 to 6 incident points buffer before you can actually get disqualified from this race. So Chris Smith has to be concerned. He has to stay on track so he does not get disqualified. But for the rest of the field, they've got to be concerned as well. 21 incident points, you can be penalized for a drive-through penalty, which means if you make contact with another driver, contact with a wall, or if you go off course into the grass at all, you can add up those incident points. It's 1 to a 4 level that you can be given. Also, sometimes if you get a little bit of a bump, it can be 0 incident points that can be given to yourself. So drivers have to be aware. As there goes the 55 once again. Hard front end damage, but he is still chugging along.
Yeah, what a I don't even know what you'd call it. He just kicked it sideways, it gets a little air there, jumps it, comes back, and then back he goes. As he's got the Little Rascals on there. I don't know if you ever watched Little Rascals as a kid. I know I did, and they got into a lot of mischief. I'm wondering if they may be potentially in the back end of that car, because they're definitely causing some Little Rascal problems for him tonight.
Oh, absolutely. They are causing a ton of mischief all over the place, and we've already seen Chris Smith doing his best to hold on. And for this 55 team, they certainly they're doing everything in their power to have a great run here, just finish out the race. And this is actually going to be Opez. He's just going to say, you know what, running too fast, we're just going to go this way. He just cuts the bus stop, got to be moving forward. Chris Smith, one of the drivers, just by him running these laps, this is actually going to be one of those things that could influence the playoffs. Because of gaining a position over Josh Altus now, he's going to be in a position where he has to figure out to gain time, because 1 point could be the decision of him moving on to the next round into the championship 4 or missing out on a championship opportunity.
Yeah, it looks like he's all recharged and ready to go. He was on pit road for 8.5 minutes. That put him 7 laps down. Here's Sam. Just to mention, is the 94 of Altus going to go slide in there just a little bit. That car's still not handling right. Braxton Luis only has 8 more laps to hang on to this race, and we will pretty much conclude it. We'll go on to post-race show. Only 8 laps to go it seems like we just got here, and this race is already getting in its final stages.
Yeah, but we are still a little concerned. Again, we touched on how fast Braxton Deweese has been running. He is still putting down some of the fastest laps of the day as they continue to, show off how fast this team is. Got to be concerned on fuel. Will he be a lap short, or can Braxton Deweese save 2.29 miles here just to finish out the race here and get the win? Because just behind him, 4 seconds back, is that a Trenton Jump. And that last lap that was just put down, Trenton Jump, Braxton Deweese, same exact lap time.
That is going to make it very interesting to see if they can hang on to it. Can they make enough fuel? And not to mention the fuel here, we've already seen as these cars get worn tires, they start to get a little looser. They start kicking sideways. The rear end's kicking out. They're getting loose. Could we see a mistake made? Hopefully, if you're going to try to make it, you're going to be going at a little bit slower pace. That should save you from possibly spinning the car out or getting it into a wall. But it's going to be a very, very close call here. Do you just come in? If you're Braxton Deweese, you have a 4-second lead. I don't think I'd come in. If it's that close, I think I would try to conserve. However, earlier, if he had that 12-second lead, I'd have probably just come in and topped off, get a quick splash of fuel. You're not getting tires or anything. You get a splash of fuel, maybe 8 seconds, just enough to make it. You would have probably come back out the leader. Coming in now, I think very well could cost him the race if someone like Trent Jump could conserve.
Yeah, we're going to be seeing exactly what this last time is. It was Braxton Deweese getting back into the 124 zone and just about a tenth faster than Trent Jump. And Jump at this point needs to be gaining anywhere from a half a second to a quarter of a second a lap if he wants a shot to go after Braxton Deweese. And for this 0-3 team showing up here today, it's been a great run for himself, but man, as Trent Jump needed just a little bit more speed. We've seen Trent Jump in other leagues that we've covered in the past, and here tonight for the SNB Cup Series, doing a great job this season debut for the 0-3, and honestly, it has been a spectacular showing. Kind of thinking, what if Trent Jump was here, and could he have gone for a championship run? If he was here to run for a championship or here from the start, would have been interesting. But Braxton Deweese, he's got 11 that there's another non-playoff driver running so well and, making it harder on other drivers to gain points.
Yeah, Braxton Deweese is in heaven right now when it comes to, or hog heaven when it comes to watching behind him. You got Jump and Smith, non-playoff drivers, like you mentioned. You have to go all the way back to 4th to find the first playoff driver, and then Tatum in 6th. And that's where you really see the gaggle of cars. Tatum, Coleman, Breaking, and Stamp right there together. They're nowhere near each other on the track, but they're together in the scoring pylon. But this is good because not only is Deweese going to lock himself in with the win, he's also getting a huge jump in points over mostly Tatum and below. Grant's not going to be too far behind him, I don't think, with just 4th compared to 1st. But from 1st to 6th, 1st all the way down to, say, 16th, even 11th with Matt Dyer, that's going to be a nice little buffer going into there, even if you didn't have the win.
Yeah, I mean, where all the drivers are lying, except for where Matt Dyer is, everyone is just closing in on one another. There's going to be a lot of points that are going to be gained. And also just, it was already from 2nd to 7th in points. It was just a 6-point difference from those just 6 drivers. And now it is going to be even closer, where it's going to be maybe just 2 or 3 going into Talladega next week. 5 laps to go, coming to 4 soon here for Braxton Deweese. But, for Logan Brakey, Ross Tatum, Jacob Grant, as well as, looking at Eric Stamp and Evan Coleman. They're going to be gaining a lot of time and positions for themselves. Altus and Dyer, though, they are not having the best runs. They're going to be losing ground. They're going to need to either win next week or have a spectacular finish for Talladega and Phoenix if they're going to be finding themselves battling for the championship. Only 4 drivers get to make it, and Braxton Deweese trying to mark it and punch his ticket into that championship for race to try to go back-to-back on SNB Cup Series championships. He's got a great shot to do it, but he's just got a couple of more lap cars to get by. Just less than a handful of laps to go here. Charles, it's looking great for this 8 machine, and guess what? There is still more racing action here at LSRTV, even after SNB is done.
Yeah, following this one, we, due to no caution except for the competition one, we will have a little bit of a break, about roughly 8:30, 9:30, about 2 hours, hour and a half, something like that. We will have a break, and then we have the Northwest Truck Series, where luckily for all you wonderful fans out there, you will be in for a big, big treat. Sam, I think you know what that treat is.
The treat could be a lot of different things.
Well, the treat, for all those out there listening, is you don't have to listen to me. So, I will be back behind the production, or in this production where I belong, for LSRTV Studios. So it's good news. You don't have to listen to me. You still get to hear Sam, but that's much better to listen to than me. So I believe Wesley will be here then, and I believe Greg Rentz will be here as well. He's already sent in his pick to win the race, so we'll show that off when the time is right later on tonight. But it should be a good one. Indy trucks, world famous track of racing with some fast trucks. Can't go wrong.
Yeah, I mean, if you look back at what happened on Monday night for the Northwest Series, a dazzling 7-lap dash to the end to see who was going to win that one. Chris White got the win. Wouldn't be surprised if White can do it again, but in the trucks. But there is a lot of hungry drivers that want to get a win as they're in the middle of their playoff racing action as well, trying to see who's going to move on from their round of 12 to the round of 8. As they actually have 4 races in each round. As SNB Cup Series, they only have 3 races each round. But, oh boy, was that it? Did I see Stamp go out? Yeah, he went extremely wide. And going to be getting out of the way of that of Braxton DeWeese as we are coming up to 2 laps to go. As Braxton DeWeese catching up to that of Zach Peterson, and also a cluster of drivers that are battling between themselves in front of DeWeese. So DeWeese has won the last 2 laps. It is not going to be a free shot for himself to get all these passes done. It's probably the toughest final couple of laps that DeWeese could ask for.
Yeah, it definitely is. And, he was wanting to save a little bit, so he was going to be going a little slower anyway, but you wanted to do that on your own terms. You didn't want to do it with lap cars in the way. Keep in mind that 4.5-second gap is now 2.1 seconds to Trent Jump, who's right there. They are in the same real estate area. There he is. There's Braxton DeWeese. These lap cars have really hindered him in these last couple of laps. I don't know if it's going to be enough to let Trent Jump actually catch him and make a pass, but we'll have to wait and see just how it all plays out. But definitely, like you mentioned, not anything like Braxton DeWeese wanted to see coming in here with 2 to go.
Absolutely not. You also saw a slow black car. That was the 88 of Matt Dyer, who had a very hard contact into the wall as we continue to watch Braxton DeWeese as he's got to try to hold off that of Trent Jump. 2.3 seconds back as we're coming close to the white flag. Trent Jump, he's got Zach Peterson to get by. Now the question, what other lap cars could slow down the 8 as we're coming to the end of the LiveSimRacingTV.com 125. It's your CRN 1 to go with Braxton DeWeese trying to get by that of Brockton Packard. Packard got to pick and choose where he wants to place himself. He'll stay low. DeWeese trying to find space to get by because Trent Jump is just a couple seconds back.
Yeah, you'll see him here in a minute. There he is coming into the screen. And this is bad news right now if you're Braxton DeWeese. That 24 machine is not letting up at all. He is staying right in the racing path of that number 8 machine. That could mean disaster. Nope, he's going to pull it over there and let him by. So he got to a spot where he could do it safely, and he let the leader by. So very good sportsmanship from Brockton Packard, but I may have spoke too soon.
Packard is still pressuring on the inside. This is a lap car of the 48. Brockton Packard holding off the leader of the 8 of Braxton DeWeese, and still the difference, 2.5 seconds currently. But Braxton DeWeese going to be having to go inside into the bus stop. Can he make the pass here? A little bit of contact going to be made as Braxton DeWeese into the first corner gets by, and now trying to pull away as it just was not enough pressure. Braxton DeWeese has got one more chicane. If he can get through this cleanly, he'll win and punch his ticket into the championship race of 4. Here we go into the last corners. Braxton DeWeese just comes in easy, takes the first corner, takes the next, and welcome to the championship 4 once again. Braxton DeWeese, he's got a shot for another championship win here at the Roval.
Yeah, what a win again. And that win came very easy for him until those last 5 laps. He started catching the lap traffic. And if you're Braxton DeWeese, knowing that 2 weeks ago you're leading the race and you get just annihilated on a few laps to go, you see a lap car in front of you, you know it's not the same driver, you don't hope it's going to happen, you don't think it's going to happen, but kind of a same case scenario. You know, you got to be wondering if Braxton DeWeese was like, I do not want to be here right now.
Yeah, I thought we had 2 weeks to calm down, not 2 weeks to think about how to ruin my race again, but luckily did not happen. Braxton DeWeese able to hold on, get by that of Packard late, but man, did Packard make it exciting there in that final lap. Braxton DeWeese, as we ride on board with the 8, getting ready to go burn it down, is taking a parade lap, cool down lap for himself. I think the rest of the field, there are going to be a lot of upset drivers on the way that they performed here tonight. Thinking of Joshua Altus as well as Matt Dyer. Those are 2 drivers that are really going to have to rebound coming into Talladega and Phoenix in these next couple of weeks. But, man, Charles, it's good to be back in the SNB Cup Series. It's been, these 2 weeks, it just felt weird not covering these guys, and it's good to be back to finish out these final 4 races, to figure out who's going to be the champion. But Braxton DeWeese, he did not cool off during those 2 weeks. He is still just as hot and one of the best drivers out here. He is really going for another championship. For this is going to be his 7th win of the season. And he finally gets to say he won at a road course this season, which is something he was hunting for all season long.
Yeah, we're just waiting to do some celebrating here. I'm not sure if he is not sure how to celebrate. I don't think that's the case. I think he's looking for the best spot to do it, as this is a road course. So just look for that perfect spot to start doing a burnout. I would do it right about here, and I think he's going to listen to me.
It's the Burn It Down, Braxton DeWeese, your winner here for the LiveSimRacingTV.com 125. And able to say he is going to be one of our final 4 that is going to be at Kansas in just 3 weeks to challenge for a championship. Braxton DeWeese, he won at Kansas earlier in the season. He is going to be the favorite going into that race. Now is the question, who's going to take those other 3 positions to try to battle Braxton DeWeese as he gets to burn it down in the grass here at the Roval. Congratulations to that whole entire 8 team.
Definitely a congratulations to him as he continues to burn it down there. We're going to step away from him as, of course, we have your unofficial race results. And as you already know, Braxton DeWeese picking up the win here tonight, followed by Trenton Jump and Caleb Smith. We'll be talking to those 3 drivers here momentarily. Jacob Grant, not a bad finish in 4th. Stooksbury Tatum, who we thought was going to be a starting park possibly, 6th place. Probably glad he didn't just park it. Evan Coleman, Logan Brakey, Eric Stamp, and Rob Sherwood going to round out your top 10 tonight, Sam.
And finishing out the rest of the results, in 11th going to be Matt Dyer, 2 laps down. Keaton Massey in the 4 going to be 2 laps down. 3 laps down going to be Brockton Packard, who put on a show there late against himself and our leader Braxton DeWeese. 3 laps down, was not able to stay. 2 laps down with Zach Peterson, going to be getting 14th. Chris Pop Smith going to be able to get 15th. Josh Alta 16th. DJ Daniel going to be getting 17th. And Andrew Cootie not able to start the race.
Unfortunate for him not being able to, but just unfortunate. for some of these drivers, did not have the start or finish they wanted to. But I'm looking forward to talking to these top three here in a minute, Sam.
Oh, absolutely. We cannot wait to talk to them because, honestly, stories across the board. Braxton DeWeese, how was that final of the race dealing with lap traffic, trying to jump? Oh, what an uphill climb he had all day long. And Caleb Smith, what a charge he had through the field. I mean, all three drivers, great stories. Can't wait to talk to them. We'll talk to them in just a few moments as we step aside for a quick moment, get all of our top three in the booth, and we'll be right back here on LSRTV. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the SNB Cup Series presented by LSR TV. As we have come to the conclusion, and we now know one of the drivers that is locked into the championship four. Can't wait to see how they're going to be attacking. That's Braxton DeWeese, who got the win. But to start out our interviews with our top three, we're going to start things off with that of Caleb Smith. Caleb, congratulations on a top three finish. Biggest mover of the day, up 10 positions. But man, how was this race for yourself?
Difficult. I didn't practice. I mean, I practiced Monday night, but that was only for like 40 minutes. I didn't practice last night, and I barely practiced in the one before the race. But I knew I had a top three car. That sounds a bit whack considering there's a whole bunch of people that practiced, but I'm always good at the road courses, at least I feel like. So I knew I had a top three car. Excuse me. But it was just trying to get through everyone without wrecking anyone. I made contact with DJ Daniel on the second stint. It's not the only person I hit though, that I think. But other than that, it was just fighting the car. It was worse than Sonoma, honestly. How sideways the car was going to get off the corner. But I don't know, just how it is, I guess.
Yeah, and Caleb, as a, you're no longer in the playoffs now, but how was it trying to race around some of those playoff drivers that you were passing by throughout this field?
I raced them the same as if I was still in the playoffs. Just because they have a green banner doesn't mean I'm going to race them any different. They're on a racetrack, we're racing, so I'm going to go for it.
Well, Caleb, we got three more races left: Talladega, Phoenix, and Kansas. How are you feeling about these last three races of the season?
Vegas gonna suck. I hate play racing. Phoenix should be the finale, but it's gonna be fun. And Kansas, it's gonna be one line all the way through. So whoever's in front's gonna win the championship.
Oh, you have to wait and see who can get in those positions to get it done. Caleb, great race for yourself. Top three finish, biggest mover. But before we let you go, the floor is yours for any shout-outs.
Yeah, I mean, first, got to thank AZ Wire and Cable for being on the car. really support me as it's my employer. But then I still have Fatal Concept on the car. They just released a new EP. It's on Spotify. Really, really good if you like metalcore. And yeah, I just want to thank everyone at High Five Racing. This is my first race back on with them, so really good showing. Thanks to everyone who watches. My amazing boyfriend who's watching right now, fantastic, honestly. He supports me through it. He doesn't even like racing, but it's great. So thank you to everyone. Thank you.
That's gonna be. Oh, thanks, Caleb. That's Caleb Smith in the 12. Going to be getting himself a third place finish. Congratulations and good luck next week at Talladega. As we're now going to be move over to second place, Trent Jump, who decided to come in and race today and finds himself in second place. Trenton, what a run for yourself. Almost able to catch up to Deweese there late, but you had to deal with a couple of obstacles throughout the day.
Yeah, first off, I just want to thank the guys at SNB for allowing me to come do this. I haven't really raced the Cup cars much since I secured a championship in another league a few months ago, so it's good to be back. It didn't really practice a lot, just practice before the race today, and that's about it. Just kind of showed up, and came and did my thing.
Yeah, touching on those obstacles that you had to deal with there, Trenton, you had the first time you bounced off the wall during the first stint of this course before the competition caution. Then you ran into Chris Smith. How was it trying to rebound from those incidences?
The first incident was just my fault. Totally crapped the bed and just ate the fence. But, after that, Chris just hit the wall and I couldn't stop. And then I got into the back of Keenan Massey, which, again, was just bad communication, but it's not a big deal. Nothing to be mad about. Braxton probably put in hundreds of laps with the practice this week, and just to be within that close of him is pretty good. So can't really complain too much.
Well, Trenton, last question. You came in for today's race. How about the rest of the season? You going to continue to show up?
Oh yeah, I'm here for the rest of the season.
Oh, I can't wait to see it. Well, that's Trent Jump in the 0-3. Before we let you go, though, the floor is yours for any shout-outs.
Yeah, just want to thank you guys for broadcasting this thing. Justin at That Color Teal Designs for painting this a beautiful car. And, just want to thank the guys again at SNB for allowing me to come in here and race.
That's Trenton Jump in the 0-3. We'll see if Trent can steal away any wins for the rest of the season. And good luck next week there, Trent. As now we'll move over to Victory Lane, where the man that is now locked in to try to go back-to-back for championships here in the SNB Cup Series, Braxton Deweese in Victory Lane. Braxton, you dominated most of this race, but those last two laps was not an easy road to get to Victory Lane and get across that line. Man, what was going through your mind there in those final two laps?
I was just hoping that nothing bad was going to happen. I saw them lab cars coming down the backstretch when they were coming out of that little bus stop chicane on the back, and there was like 5 or 6 of them, and I was like, all right, here we go. So I was just trying to be easy, trying to figure out what they were going to do. I mean, they were, I don't know if you probably saw, they were kind of all over the place. I was having to judge where they were all going to be, but we got through there without hitting anybody or getting hit by anybody, so happy about that and happy we got the win.
Yeah, you got the win. You're now going to be in that last race at Kansas to go for another championship here in the SNB Cup Series. You got 2 more races, though, before we get there. How are you feeling about these next 2 races with that weight lifted, really, of worrying about trying to get into that last round?
I'm going to keep doing what I'm going to try to do is win these races. After last week, that last lap incident, I want to win as much as I can and end it off on a good note. So I feel pretty good. Hopefully we can do good, stay smooth. Hopefully we don't get wrecked by anybody else. Wouldn't be surprised, but we'll see what happens.
I mean, Braxton, just a huge congratulations on this win and good luck moving forward. Before we let you go, though, the floor is yours for any shout-outs.
Yeah, I have a lot of people to thank that, they support me and tune in and, like to watch me want to, get my dream, I want to race in real life. I mean, yeah, doing it on a computer is all fun and all, but real life's where it's at, and I want to get to that, but like I said, I want to thank all the family, friends, supporters for tuning in and watching. I want to thank Alan's Art Images for being on the car last week, this week, and they'll be on the car next week and the following week as well at Talladega and Phoenix. I also want to thank Reaper Speed Lab. It's been nothing but a fun time and a good time since joining them. Found a lot of speed, been learning a lot, so big shout out to them. I also want to thank GP Diecast, CD Cinematography, Bennett's Publical, Papa's Pizza Palace, Ravenwood Enterprise, NASCAR Tech, and the best teacher there, or one of the best teachers there. You know, he's one of the best teachers, you know. Well, I can't think of his name because I'm having a brain fart, but I'll think of it in a second. Rapid Response, Rapid Roofing, Rapid Heating and Air, Scott Martin and Jeff Schmidt. I want to thank you guys for broadcasting. I always love going back and watching the races. But Mr. Mendoza, if you're tuning in, I told you we were going to do pretty good. Like I said, you're one of the best teachers there. Appreciate having you as a teacher. And I also want to give my condolences and prayers to the Kurtz family. He was a middle school teacher and the head varsity baseball coach at Miamisburg High School, and he just passed away. So all the condolences and prayers to them.
That's Braxton DeWeese in the 8 machine. You're reigning, defending, and now will be able to defend it for sure in your championship 4. Braxton DeWeese winning here at the LiveSimRacing.com 125. Congratulations, Braxton, and good luck next week, as this has been a blast to watch these drivers throughout this time, and more racing to be seen here on LSR TV, as we've got the Northwest Truck Series going to be at 11:35 Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be having coverage here on LSR TV, where drivers are going to be attacking in the trucks. Who can conquer the Indy Oval? We had the road course last week for the Northwest Truck Series. Now we're going to be at the Oval course. We're in playoffs. Who's going to be making it to the next round? Can't wait to see it, as drivers are getting amped up. We're going to start to come to a close. Thank you for joining us. It's been a while since we've been here at the SNB Cup Series presented by LSR TV. We're proud to be back here at the SNB Cup Series. Break's over. It's now time to figure out who's going to win the championship. We've got Talladega, Phoenix to figure out who's going to be in our Final 4, then Kansas to find out who's going to be the champion of this season. Thanks for joining us here for, again, the Live Sim Racing TV.com 125 here at the Roval for the SNB Cup Series. Want to give a big thanks to LSR TV Studios for producing this, as well as all the amazing behind the scenes people that help us here at LSR TV. My name is Sam Dyer, had that of Charles Wooten up in the booth, joining me as we are going to come to a close. Can't wait for it. Just in about 2 hours, more racing action here on LSR TV. If you don't join us then, we'll see you next week for the SNB Cup Series at Talladega. Have a great one.